And I tell him again, listen, I can't keep doing this. I can't keep going on like this. You know, I'm exhausted. Everything is bad. I just can't keep going on.
Mm-hmm.
And his answer, that was his answer. You know, when I go to, if you really can't go on anymore, you know, you feel you can't keep doing this, you have the right to die.
Oh, I thought that this person was just kind of a low-level bureaucrat. I didn't know that this was someone who was in charge.
That person was in charge of the Montreal's office, and I think since then he's got the promotion and he's now in charge of the entire Easternship.
I thought they said they let him go.
No, not him. I have been fighting with depression for
Right.
so many years. I am a wreck. I am literally just grasping every little breath of air I can to survive. And instead of reaching out, this is what it comes up with. You
Yeah.
know, if you're that fed up and you really think you can't go on anymore, you know you have the right to die.
Yeah.
And
Wow. Hey?
I remember answering at this time, I can't believe you just said that. I can't believe you will not give me the equipment I need to live,
Right.
but you'll give me medical aid to die.
Yeah.
Like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah. How dare they say that? Hey everyone, welcome to my podcast. Today I'm going to be speaking with a Canadian Army veteran, a former Paralympian who was offered euthanasia after inquiring to Veterans Affairs about installing a disabled lift into her home. Christine Gauthier is here with me and we're going to start in right now. Hi Christine.
Hi, Tammy.
Hi. Thanks for coming on my podcast. So let's start first. I'm curious, when you were a young woman, you decided to go into the Army. What made you decide to do that?
I think nature, my life up to there was as what it's been. Mm-hmm. I've always been somebody very strong and wanted to help others. I had a pretty bad, rough childhood. Mm-hmm. that led probably to this decision. You know, I was sexually abused as a child. I was severely beaten by my father repeatedly. I was placed in foster home. Yes,
oh,
but
I see.
as many were. You know, mm-hmm. That's why I keep saying all the time. You know, I have nothing special. There's 3 out of 4 people that has all these abuse. There's nothing even authentic and special about it anymore, which is so sad.
Well,
you know,
I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, this is your experience, and there isn't anybody else whose experience is the same as that. This is your experience, as far as I'm concerned. And sure. I know that we're all given challenges. Yes. In our lives, that's for sure.
Yes. So anyway, to answer your question, when I came back living with my mother and sisters, I've decided at 15 that never again would I be put in a position to not be able to take care of myself and to be a witness to this for anyone else and not react. Mm-hmm. So my first intention was to be a police officer, but I decided at 18 to enroll myself in the Army and gain in life experience a bit, if I may say. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And ended up enjoying the military life, finding, you know, rules and I don't know how to say, the encadrement.
The protocol of the Army, the rules of the Army?
Not the rules per se, because rules are important, but the lifestyle, I'm very Cartesian. I'm very, straight to point, and I enjoyed that from there. I found it was making sense that I end up in. When I was there, it was making sense for me to be there.
Right, right. And so it was during basic training that you had an accident? Yes.
Yes, at the end of basic training, I unfortunately had my accident. Mm-hmm. But.
Did it cause you to be in a wheelchair right away?
No, not at the time. Yeah, mm-hmm. I had to jump in a 6-foot trench hole. And at the bottom of the hole, there were rocks and the
Uneven.
ground, uneven ground. So my knees went out of joint and my spine followed through the movement. So I was rescheduled for an next course. Of course, I was in physio, for a few months. Then the kneecap joints came back, but crookedly, and so through the years after, the damages caused to it just went on to be greater.
Right.
Time after time. So they decided to operate in '92. So that was in 1989. In 91, I had my first surgery, and then from 91 to 94, I had 8 surgeries in my knees.
Oh wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, and then...
Were they successful?
No, not really. No. And then the spine issues were overlooked, thinking all the time it was the knees causing all these problems, until one day I paralyzed, and then they then saw the micro tears,
Right.
and then everything went on from there, like getting worse.
I see.
I've been I was walking with 2 crutches for a while, from 95 to 96, but I started having to use the wheelchair in 96, 7.
And so how long were you active in the army?
10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
From 89?
89 to 99. Still being injured, but was reaffected to other work.
Did you serve anywhere?
Yes, I served in Israel during the Gulf War in 90, 91. And I went to Cyprus in 92, 93.
I see. How long were you gone? How long were you?
6 months each time.
Yeah. Wow.
With the blueberry.
Wow. What an adventure, really. I mean, it's a dangerous adventure, but what an adventure.
Yes. And I also served in the Oka crisis we had here in Quebec.
Okay. Yeah, I lived in Montreal when that happened.
All right.
So what were you in charge of when the Oka crisis happened?
I was just a newbie in the army, basically there. So we were. I was in one of the first armored vehicle behind the Gulf Center, where the Aboriginal people were gathered.
Right. Because they stopped the highway too, right? Or was it the train?
The bridge.
Yeah, the bridge.
Yeah, the bridge and some of the roads and access here and there. But
that was do you remember how long that conflict went on?
It started in the July and ended up probably around October.
Right, it was a long time.
Yeah, it was a 3-4 month.
Yeah, and so that was your initiation into serving?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Right at home?
Right at home.
Who knew that was going to happen?
Yeah, no. I wouldn't have expected that.
Well, I was coming to your house and I saw a gigantic canoe.
Yes.
And I thought about Oka then. I thought, oh, maybe we're on this territory. I think this is all territories.
Yeah, no, nothing happened on this area, I think.
No.
I didn't live here at the time, but it was mostly on North Shore. So.
Right.
And the bridge, there would be another bridge, Mercier Bridge, a little further down.
And so then you went to Israel next?
Yes, I went to Israel next. I was supposed to be there just serving our normal UN nation tour.
Yeah.
As you know, we all knew that the Gulf War was being in Iraq, and they were the one getting the action, if we may say this way. But once we ended up in Israel, it wasn't quite the same picture. So we were there having to do our job, which is in doing protecting the line that's between the borders of Lebanon, Syria, and Israel.
Yeah.
But we also had to experience all the disagreement of the bombing and the gun attacks, because we had to go in shelter 28 times for missiles that fell over us.
Right.
So that wasn't, and then you get your atropine shot issues just in case that it's a gas. Because at the time, if you remember, it was the worry was it was chemical, biological agent war. It wasn't like the other wars were.
Right.
Afterwards. So yeah, it was a little very exciting.
Yeah,
a
very
lot of
exciting.
excitement.
And then did you come back here for a term here in Canada and then go
yes,
back
then I
to
came back.
Syria?
I came back to Syria.
Did you go to, you went after you were in Israel, then you went somewhere else?
Yeah, Cyprus.
Oh, Cyprus.
Yeah, I came back to
Cyprus.
Canada.
I've been to Cyprus.
Yeah.
That's beautiful there.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I came back to Canada. Then I was posted from Valcartier, from Quebec to Shiloh, Manitoba. And from there we went to Cyprus.
And that
for
was the
6
same
months.
conflict?
No.
During the same conflict?
No.
New conflict?
Right. But Cyprus is one of the United Nations mission that Canada has been involved with for a good 30 years, I think. I was actually one of the last, I think I was the second last Canadian group to go there, actually. So we had to close down base,
Right.
camp, the entire mission. Some other countries took over for us.
What year was that?
So 93, 94.
93.
92, 93.
Right. Yeah, that would have been Clinton in the States.
Well, I don't know if it had much to do with them. I mean, Canada decided to retrieve, because we were not serving with the Americans.
No?
The line section we had was manned by Canadians since, I think it was in 1973, something like this, when the conflict existed then. And for what political reason did they decide that now we were pulling out and some other country was taking over for Canadians? I don't know. But
Well, the way that, who knows about the funding and all of that that's going on in the military.
yes, no,
I mean-
I don't know.
Well, recently we heard that Justin Trudeau gave $9 billion to Ukraine and took $1 billion from the military.
Yes, I know. That much I've heard.
Yeah. What kind of result do you think that will cause for the military if you were still involved?
Well, it's catastrophic for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, even just part of it is taken from the veterans.
Right.
Just the system. Since I have been a veteran in 1998, when I was put to retirement.
Decommissioned, yeah.
The services that we had received as veterans has declined so badly.
In what way?
To this day.
In what way?
Well, before the services were issued by human beings, treating human beings. So we had, each local office were treated, the veterans they had in their areas. So they get to know the people, get to know their needs, and were able to man at the services and equipment they needed quite rapidly and efficiently. At some point, they decided to split the services from Veterans Affairs Canada with Blue Cross. So Blue Cross became like the paying agent of the needs for the veterans, but in Veterans Affairs still the deciding agent for. But that became a nightmare because now we had to deal with two entities
Right.
before we get one thing done.
Right.
And now,
They can pass the buck from one to the other.
well, that's exactly what's been going on. And they have regionalized the services as well. So now we do not have a local office neither anymore treating us. It's all
Where are they now?
wherever someone picks up the phone from.
I see. Right.
You're not.
So you don't know the people at all then
no.
on the other end either?
No.
It's all automated.
Yes.
I see.
August 24th, 2015. You made the promise, and I'll quote it here, "No veteran will be forced to fight their own government for the support and compensation they have earned." Yet you are still currently in a legal battle with veterans regarding equal support and compensation to their peers. You have ISIL or ISIS members coming into a reintegration program. You did a backdoor deal with Omar Khadr with not even stepping into the courtroom. So again, my question is, what veterans were you talking about? Was it the ones that fought for the freedoms and values that you so proudly boast about, or was it the ones who fought against? Because honestly, Mr. Prime Minister, I was prepared to be injured in the line of duty when I joined the military. Nobody forced me to join the military. I was prepared to be killed in action. What I wasn't prepared for, Mr. Prime Minister, is Canada turning its back on me. So which veteran was it that you were talking about?
Why are we still fighting against certain veterans groups in court? Because they're asking for more than we are able to give right now.
And when you apply, do you apply online as well?
I personally am not a fan of internet and online things.
Yeah.
So
Why not?
No.
Do you know?
I don't believe in all. Well, I think it's taking away from the humanity,
Right.
people-to-people connection.
Right.
I know there is good that comes from it. I am not against evolution, and I'm not against the new equipment coming out. It has done some good, but I find that there's way more bad and problems coming from it than solution and good things.
So when you had this lift in your other house, you had it from 98? Is that when you got the lift the first time?
Well, actually, that was my second lift. So there was one installed in 2000.
Yeah.
It was renewed in 2010 or 2012
Yeah.
in those areas.
And why would it be renewed at that point?
Because they always claim that equipment after a certain time is just not good anymore and
Right.
needs to be replaced.
Right.
I agree in some equipment, but I'm the type of person that if it's still good, let's use it.
Right.
Until the weighing of the repair on it is costing more than the change of it.
Right.
I don't think just because you've reached 5 years time mark and you're allowed to turn new one that you should just replace it.
Right.
If it's still working, well, it's still working, so keep it. And this is the mentality I have and try to always go with. So that's why it was brand new. It wasn't broken. It was working well. When we moved here, I paid for the entire adaptations of the house here, and I was willing to have this installed myself. But even though a Veterans Affairs will not take back equipment they pay to you, in the books, it always belongs to them anyway.
Right.
Okay, so when I asked the company to take it apart there and install it here,
Yeah.
well, they had to confirm with Veterans Affairs first to make sure that it was okay that I do this, because in the books, it belongs to them. So at the time, Veterans Affairs came back and said, oh, no, wait, you can't just go and install this back there, because when it is too old and, the height not being the same, we need to make adjustment. We need to make a change. We need to make an investigation first. So they started an investigation. And in 2019, I received the first letter after 2 years of investigation and people coming in to work. I received the first letter that, okay, we're going to proceed with the installment of the elevator. But they had decided that they were going to put it at the front of the house. So I said, well, this is ridiculous because it doesn't help me. It won't serve the purpose. And it's going to be all this money wasted for nothing.
Right.
Because if you put it up there, this is my house entry. I'm going to have to roll outside in the snow and come out through do all this rolling, because my car is parked in the garage in the wintertime.
Yes.
If I didn't have to in a wheelchair, having to remove the snow from a van is very hard for us to do. So the car is in the garage
For a reason.
Yes, exactly. And so the point of the elevator is to access all my levels, but not complicated things by having me needing to wheel in the snow further out.
Right. That seems to make sense.
Well, you would think.
Yeah.
Normally, people with judgment and common sense all understand, but for them,
So they wanted to put it at that end of the house, not at this end of the house,
Exactly.
and then it just stopped there?
So I said, no, this is where it goes, and we just come back. So they decided they were going to launch a entire new investigation on that. Instead of just transferring plans, okay, let's put it there. So they started another complete investigation, as I say. And 2 years later, in 2021, I got the second letter stating, okay, we're going to do the work now. But they decided they were going to do it halfway in the house. So again, I said,
Strange.
well, okay, we're getting closer. Like, I still need to do, instead of 100 feet in the snow, you still want me to do 60 feet.
Yeah.
Like, makes no sense. So again, it's been in the works now, and I've received in December of 2022 the letter for the third time stating, okay, we're going to do the work there at the back.
Oh, okay.
But it's still not done yet.
Now, what is stopping them now if you've got the location?
Well, they when they started, because I have no possibility to be implicated in any steps of this investigation they do. Or
So how do you get outside then now?
Right now,
Yeah.
in the winter time, I have like 10 steps almost outside
Yeah.
that I have to crawl up and down with my wheelchair on a leash in front of me
Right.
to be able to get on it and to access in the garage. Luckily, like I've told you, in the summer, because the front of the building is not occupied, I can use this access, which has a small ramp, and park my car outside because I don't have to unshovel my car.
Okay, so in the summer.
In the summer, it gives me a chance
I see.
to be able to use this. Otherwise, but my house is here, my entrance is here.
Yeah.
Other way is I had to pay to have this chair in the chair case inside the house, because if the lift had been there already from the start, I would not have needed to have all of these extra equipments. And
Oh, I
Veterans
see. You
Affairs-
have something to go down the stairs on the inside.
yes, because normally when the elevator is going to be in place, I will stay in my chair and do all of these.
Right.
But
Right.
2 years after, as it was still not done, I could not keep going inside as well, doing all these steps, on my butt, like crawling up and down. So that requires that I transfer in and out.
So when did
4
they put that
times.
the stairway?
I had to put this in.
Oh, you put it in?
Yes, because they would not pay for this since they were investigation. An elevator, I can only get one
Right,
equipment.
right.
Which I agree with.
Yeah.
I understand. It should just not take 5 years for a renewal
Right.
of equipment.
Right.
So I paid for this and had that installed in 2019 about. After the first letter and I saw I was not getting anything done, we paid for this to have installed. But the problem is that means I need to have a second wheelchair downstairs now. Otherwise, I can't keep having and dragging these chairs.
And do you have
everywhere.
another wheelchair downstairs?
Well, I have my old one.
Yeah.
I kept,
Yes.
and I used the old one. But again, they only will pay the maintenance on one chair.
Oh.
But it forces me to use 2 chairs here.
Right.
So I have to
Maintain that.
maintain and pay for everything on the second chair again.
Right.
And what is even worse than all this is all the unnecessary transfers
Right.
that it's causing and the danger of falls. And
Yeah.
So I just discovered last month, because I have been suffering a lot of injury and pain in the shoulders and elbow and wrists, and which I know exactly what was going on. Like you said, I've been an athlete also.
Yeah.
You know when you're healthy. You know when you're sick. You know when you're injured, and you know when you're disabled. It's all different level of things. I could sense that it was causing a lot of damages because the way I have to transfer is not a natural way.
Right.
It's not like when you're lifting
Lifting weights. Yeah.
Your body is placed in a position that it is making sense to doing these movement adjustments.
Right, if you lift weights inappropriately, you hurt yourself.
Exactly. Having to twist, rotate, and always be in bud position to transfer in and out is not making good impacts on the body.
Right.
So last week I've just heard that I have, there are tears, tendonitis, and bursitis in both my shoulders, both my wrists, and both my elbows.
From these transfers.
From these transfers.
Yeah.
Aside from the disability I have as a paraplegic and everything that has already occurred in my spine, my neck, and so yeah, I was a wheelchair user and had disability lower body before, but this none.
So that makes this elevator even more of a necessity now. You know, there's no excuse for that at all.
No. There are even rules, laws. There's laws. You could be pursued or sued for not stopping on the side of an accident and giving hand, helping somebody you know that may be in an accident.
Right.
For this past 5 years, the government deliberately knew all the damages it was causing, because I've been seeing the doctors for this in the past 5 years, getting injections done, having reports sent in, proving to them the necessity and the urgency of this.
Right.
And it's still not done. And in the last month, I hear that it is so far out damaged now that there may not actually be nothing to be done.
That sounds like our system at the moment, doesn't it?
Yes. It's terrifying.
Yes, that's for sure.
It's terrifying. It's criminal.
Man, oh man. Yeah. Well, Canada has a lot of work to do.
And yes, in around 2021, you know, since all of this has started and happened to me, I am just sitting there waiting to be able to live again.
Right.
So I'm just surviving, hoping that I can start living again one day.
Let's talk about living again. So let's talk about who you are, because you could talk about when you had to become a veteran and how you ran your life after that, and what you did in your life after that, because you were active.
Yes, I was. I've always been very active. I mean, just even before I joined the army, I was very active. Then I joined in as artillery, so I was in the first group of women to open up combat arms for women. So physically, it's always been very demanding.
Right.
To maintain with it, well, I was training, doing weights, doing other sports, cycling, skiing. I've always been finding my joy of life in sports,
Right.
I'd say.
Right.
Since I've been out of the army, I'd say the first 10 years was a big adaptation of not wanting to use the wheelchair, so I was recluded for a while, depressed, of course.
Right.
But then in 2008, somebody approached me with wanting to try kayaking. I had never done in my life, even as a able body, we like to say, on the contrary of disabled. So I always been willing to attempt any experience. I never say no to any experience I could try out. So I went. I enjoyed it instantly. It was so free lifting for the first time in so long. Sitting in this boat on the water, it was such a feeling of serenity and calm, and you know, for the first time I was at the same level of everyone again.
Right, right.
So it was it was a very, very serene, very deeply serene, and comforting, and I loved it instantly. So.
And then you went on to compete.
And at
won
the
a lot
time,
of...
they were starting wanting to implicate the paracanoe in the Paralympics because it was not a discipline at the time.
Oh, I see.
So I started in 2008. I went on to win 5 world championships in a row from 2008 to 2013. But in 2012, we should have had gone to London, but you know how before you can become a sport, an Olympic sport, Paralympic sport, you need to be a demonstration sport at one cycle before.
Right.
So they announced like in 2012 that we would be introduced in the next games in 2016. Meanwhile, also, since we had the Vancouver Games, you know, in Vancouver, of course, in 2010, at the time, Canada had issued a lot of money into the games since we were home.
Right.
And that gave a lot of visibility for adaptive sports that I didn't know existed either. So I was introduced to sledge hockey and cross-country sit skiing, and so I went on to compete on national teams with these sports as well.
Wow.
I was trying
Hockey,
to...
yeah?
Yeah, sledge hockey.
How fun is that, I bet?
A lot of fun.
I bet that's a lot of fun.
Yes, I loved it, yeah. And rowing as well.
A lot of upper body strength for all of those things for you, huh?
Yes.
So that you wouldn't have had to do a lot of weightlifting because you were doing all the sports.
Right. Yeah.
And then there was some powerlifting in there too.
Well, I was, you know, to maintain the good muscle mass, and you need to train.
Right.
So yes, I was doing weightlifting sessions into the programs for my kayaking and other sports.
Now, did you work with a group of people for that?
While I was on the national team with, yes, we have teams of people working and helping us.
Right.
That is also why I love, people don't understand, you know, how come you can't go? Like, you see, I bought this place here in 2017 because, for 3 reasons. At the time, I was trying to find a place to be able to train from home, where it could be more valuable, time-consuming and training-wise. Because from Dorval going to the basin, it was 4 hours a day.
Oh wow!
Taking with traffic and time, traveling time. It takes 4 hours a day to go and train there twice a day. So it was taking.
And from here, how long would it be?
Oh, from here it would be an extra hour so each time.
Yeah.
So it would be almost 8 hours. So I tried to find something by the water that I could train from home and be more efficient.
Yeah, because you are right by the water.
Yes. So this is why when I was looking for 2 years before we moved, and also.
Were they aware that you were looking to move?
Yes.
They were.
Yes.
Okay.
The people, the circle working around with us, yes.
And who were those people from? Like, where were they from?
I receive, I get services from St. Anne's hospitals.
Yeah.
So this people, the psychologists, the physiatrists, the doctors following us there, and the team with the CGD, Pain Management Clinic.
Yeah.
Yes, those people follow us, help us, take over so much for us, but they're also just employees of VAC, right? Of Veterans Affairs.
Yeah.
So they knew, but did Minister McCauley know? I suppose not, you know.
Right.
Or did Justin Trudeau know? Of course not.
Right. So is this basically up to one individual to decide what's happening, or is it?
Well, in my case, this through this entire ordeal, I will say that one person had a huge problematic impact on it, because yes, he's the one that after the second time, when it was, we could have just have draw plans and move things to the back, decides to start all over again.
Right.
The process. Why? How and why?
Yeah.
And he's also the person that, when I said I really can't go on like this, like I need this elevator there, we need to do this. And he's the one who said, Madame Gauthier, if you're that fed up and you think you can't go on, you have the right to die.
That was the same person?
That's the same person.
Oh, I thought that this person was just kind of a low-level bureaucrat. I didn't know that this was someone who was in charge.
That person was in charge of the Montreal's office, and I think since then he's got the promotion and he's now in charge of the entire Easternship.
In what way? In charge?
In Veterans Affairs.
Oh, is that right? I thought they said they let him go.
No, not him.
I see. Because Trudeau, in a number of the interviews I watched, there was always a little clip of him saying, "Oh, that was completely not," and he's been let go.
No, they let go apparently one person that was involved in a couple of cases from West.
There was a fall guy, that we call that a fall guy, where you get rid of somebody that you can get rid of and keep the people in who you want to be in. Well,
the scapegoat.
Yeah, the scapegoat, exactly.
Yes. Yeah. So no, I mean,
That's
even when I had written, because I had written letters to Trudeau, to Macaulay, Lawrence Macaulay was the Minister of Veterans Affairs at the time.
Yeah.
I'd written letters. Of course, the response letter I received from Trudeau was, of course, we're very sympathetic to what's going on with you, but we see in the letter, because I had copied, CC'd the others.
Yeah.
So even the Trudeau's letter writes, we see that you have already contacted both the Minister of Defense and Minister of Veterans Affairs, and we're confident they're going to be taking actions to resolve this issue. And Minister Macaulay, his answer was, who? Kristen, who?
Right.
His answer was almost as,
He was
we
like,
never
never got that
We
letter.
never heard, yeah. So it's like, how ridiculous is this when even in the letter from Trudeau it states that you've got the letter.
Right.
So, but no, that I never since, and that was like pretty much all of this I've unveiled December 3rd, 2022. I have never got a call, a letter, or anything from them. Ever. And I still don't have the elevator.
And you still don't have the elevator. And winter is coming.
And winter's coming.
And winter is coming. So this is definitely the time that something needs to be done.
Yes.
Yeah.
And before, like you were saying, why now is it taking so long since we got a third letter of acceptance of project?
Right.
Well, like I said, I'm never allowed to be implicated in any steps of anything. So they draw this package for the elevator that then they have to have clear with the city for permits.
So if you had the money to do it now, could you do it?
Not without proper permits.
Right. And so how hard are the permits to get?
It's been very hard.
It's been very hard.
Because from the beginning, Veterans Affairs have gone and done everything backwards. I mean, you should have gone through the city first, any city.
Right.
I understand that people will say the city here is very particular.
Right.
And hard to deal with. Agree. But if you go ahead before you have any project to do and you know what document and what rules you need to follow to get proper permits, you will not be able to do something like this without a permit, that's for sure. And I understand that and I agree with that. But because nobody will take my calls and I am not allowed to give the point of what I need in any of these discussions, I'm sitting dug between the two entities. Again, like, so now it's the municipality and the Veterans Affairs.
Neither of them are answering to you.
No.
And so, so which would you say needs to be done first? the municipality or Veterans Affairs? Because if you had the permit,
If I had a permit, and then if I had the money, then
yeah, right, then it could be done.
yes. But
So the permit probably
I had
is,
been trying, like, as this was going on, I have not, just sat here waiting for things to just
Right.
happen. I'm a strong believer that no change will occur from no action, that's for sure.
right,
You want things to move and change, you need to change something or make an action.
right,
That's why I'm telling you, I have written to everybody. First, within the chain of commandment
Yeah.
of Veterans Affairs to every levels, up till to the ministers and
Yeah.
to the Prime Minister,
yeah,
which led to squash.
yeah,
I have written to the journalists everywhere. I have written to the Legion. I have written to everybody. Somehow, I don't know how. And I'm not. I hate. I hate that it may even sound a least bit pity, or because I'm not looking for pity. I don't want any of this. And like I told you before, I'm not even alone or special in this case. There's so many of us. This new system is so corrupted and is so devious. So many veterans, in the case that I know, but elderlies, sick people in general, it is completely ridiculous.
yeah.
The system that
public
is-
system is it's run its course. It
Yes.
seems like it's run its course.
But even worse, so to me it's so clear that the problems, the entire problems we had that Trudeau has created in the time he's been there, has been only the oldest trick in the book. Divide to reign better. As you're terrorizing everybody and have everybody confront each other for the beliefs they're not sharing
Right.
on every question, whether it was the religion, whether it was the LGBT, whether anything, the immigration, all of it. As everybody is fighting each other on this, he's just setting up stuff and playing his little thing,
Yeah.
making his money, privatization, everything.
Finding his way to the WEF. Yeah.
It is, and the worst of it is, it seems that people are not even conscious of, like they're not even realizing all of this.
Well, I think it's 16% of men would vote for him, but the number of women who will vote for him is much, much higher, and that's absolutely. It's just not acceptable.
No.
It's time for everybody to wake up and really just look and see what's going on in our country, how expensive food is.
I mean, this person, you're talking about a person that had more than so many to start up with. Okay? His legacy from his father put him there.
Yeah.
He was not voted in there. It was already prearranged for his position in there. All the money and luxury he had through his entire life. And he is the person with the least judgment I can ever see. How really stupid of all the supposedly mistakes he has done. You know already you're going to be taking on this kind of position. I don't know when it became that being Prime Minister of a country was a family business,
Right.
per se, necessarily. I don't know where that happened, but how, he has turned and tear down this country and made it his little playground for all the excess perversity that he is striving for since ever. So this little guy, all the stupid things he's done all along.
Yeah, well, the people down at the local level are really feeling it, and that's your story too, is because at the local level this regime is not serving the
No.
people at all.
No.
So during this whole time, you were given this option to accept medically assisted suicide. Medically assisted, they don't call it medically assisted suicide, but anyway, that's what it is. And that must have been quite a shock for them to say that to you, eh?
It was because, like I said already, I have been fighting with depression for
Right.
so many years. I am a wreck. I am literally just grasping every little breath of air I can to survive. And instead of reaching out, this is what it comes up with. You
Yeah.
know, if you're that fed up and you really think you can't go on anymore, you know you have the right to die.
Yeah.
And
Wow, hey?
I remember answering at this time, I can't believe you just said that. I can't believe you will not give me the equipment I need to live,
Right?
but you'll give me medical aid to die.
Yeah.
Like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, how dare they say that? I was looking, well, I was praying before I got here, and I thought, okay, what is going on here? And I thought, this whole idea of offering medically assisted death is looking at us in our lives at extrinsic value instead of intrinsic value, because intrinsic value, we're all worthwhile, and our lives are all worthwhile, and our suffering is also worthwhile. But this extrinsic idea of, are you useful, are you happy, are you pain-free, and if, I mean, I know that there's suffering in the world, I know that, but is it up to us, men, is it up to people to make those decisions for us?
Not the government, anyway.
In a group form? Like individually, within a family, we're going to have these, what Trudeau calls difficult conversations, but not with our government.
No.
Because, well, what are they doing? They're going through again and talking about mature minors, or health issues, or mental health issues being grounds for MAID. This is just creeping further and further into people's lives, and not looking at what the underlying philosophy is to that, whether people are worthwhile or not. Like each of us are worthwhile in a spiritual manner.
Absolutely.
We are all worthwhile, and the lessons that we learn in our lives, those are all worthwhile. You can't say that a person can make that decision for someone else.
That's absolutely not.
No,
Especially not a government entity.
no. Groups can't make decisions for individuals.
No.
It doesn't work out well. It doesn't go in the right direction, and so it's not going in the right direction. So, when they asked you whether you wanted to choose this MAID, how did you respond in the moment? Like, what was your thoughts in the moment, and what have been your thoughts since about how that has played out?
Like I said, there was no action towards, like, this discussion happened, like I'm saying, where this person contacts me to give me a heads up of where the evolution of the file for the elevator is at. And I tell him again, listen, I can't keep doing this. I can't keep going on like this. You know, I'm exhausted. Everything is bad. I just can't keep going on. Mm-hmm. And his answer, that was his answer. You know, when I go to, if you really can't go on anymore, you know, you feel you can't keep doing this, you have the right to die. And that's when I shocked. I told him, I can't believe you're not gonna give me the equipment I need to live, but you're gonna make me die. And that was it. Like,
That was the end of, yeah, that was the conversation.
Yes, it was shocking because, like I say, regardless, not regardless, you're already talking to somebody in disability,
Right.
completely in depression,
Mm-hmm.
you know, grasping on everything, and you're the person in situation of power on this situation, and this is what you come up with.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was really, it was really horrifying at the fact that it's like, I just can't believe I can't get the equipment I need to just live, but you know, you're gonna just make me die like this. Like, so there was nothing more of this, because of course, like I said, this person is a key person at the time in Montreal,
Mm-hmm.
Making the decision on these files, but I never met him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Of course, I've mentioned some of this to the people at St. Anne's.
Mm-hmm.
In time, I have when I have heard in December of 2022 that there was others. I mean, that is also the other thing.
Right.
I didn't know there were others either.
Right.
And I mean, you need to also understand that was one more thing, one more of so many unrealistic comments.
Mm-hmm.
They came up and said through the years that at some point you just like it's so disconnected,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I remember some early stage on, I fought to maintain my coverage, my medical coverage from the Army.
Mm-hmm.
That was the only thing I fought to keep when I was medically released,
Right.
because there was no way, with the condition I was in, that I'll be able to find a work
Mm-hmm.
or be able to find insurance, which is the case.
Mm-hmm.
So that through the system, that's the thing I fought to keep,
Mm-hmm.
and I won my case on this.
Oh, thank goodness.
So, wait.
Wait.
So of course I win, I get my 100% coverage, everything for life is going to be coverage. Normally, since my injury occurred in Canada, even if I first served during service as well,
Mm-hmm.
I was only entitled to pension once I was liberated, getting out of the Army,
Mm-hmm.
Which is fine,
Mm-hmm.
no problem there. But maintaining this coverage was important to me, because I would have had it, you know, without the disability,
Right.
that the Army does not dispute at any cost, any point. There is not even any dispute or discussion on this. It is 100% attributable to my service,
Right.
luckily, imagine.
Yes.
So then about a year and a half after I got out, they come out with something about, oh, we did an administrative error. You were not supposed to receive this coverage, so you're going to be losing this coverage in 30 days. So, no. I went to, we fought with the lawyer to keep this.
Yes.
I maintained this. So again, it went within the system. Again, they gave me right. I was keeping my services.
Mm-hmm.
2 years later, they come out again with, we're going to revoke again the
Wow.
services. It had to go to the Minister of Veterans Affairs of the time,
Mm-hmm.
which was, I can't remember his name now. Anyway, in 2000, 2001.
Mm-hmm.
It had to go to his level, where he signed in, that because of all the gravity of the conditions and the level of pension and all the overcome of the on my health, that I maintained for life my coverage. So I have this letter also from the Minister of Veterans Affairs, Pactacan, Pactacan at the time. So it's the third time again that I maintain my life coverage. Now again, they revoked it. They revoked that again now in 2015,
Wow.
2016.
Mm-hmm.
And again, through all of this, I have been fighting this at the same time.
Right.
They're not even answering it anymore. Every time I write a letter and I write, we need to settle and I want my coverage back.
So they took it?
Yeah. So now I'm not entitled to the coverage I had again.
Wow.
Even if I have a letter signed from the minister of the time.
Right.
And now every time we mention it, just doesn't get answered. They're just not addressing it. It just not exists. So it's completely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Since when has it become that you're allowed to just not answer? And, well, I know Trudeau has been champion on this. He never answers a question.
Oh, no.
And he always had a plan. That we know. But somebody, they have to wake up, and I don't know, I find it's really bad already. Like, I don't know if it can get worse, but...
Right. Well, I guess it can always get worse, but yeah, we're going to inherit a lot of things that have to be talked about and rectified.
Yes, but I believe that it needs to be with actions,
Yeah.
and this is why I agree to do this.
Yes.
I think it has to be known. It's one action I can try to take and make.
Yes, absolutely. So I really appreciate you talking with me. It was good of you, and I know it's a hard conversation. But I felt I could come here and speak with you. So thank you, Christine.